Hey, good morning. My name is Russ. This is Sailing Vessel Tautog, and the boat's not moving an inch right now because we're up in the boatyard. Got hauled out yesterday. We'll get you some videos of that and an update of the projects I've been working on. Even while I was in the water, of course, I was doing some work. Right now, the boat is looking pretty good on the inside. I have, I have a pretty high standard for housekeeping, I would say. I keep the boat looking pretty good, but one thing that's going to change, here's my new hydrovac cover, by the way. One thing that's going to change is that this area and this area are going to get piled up with stuff. And that's because the first job today is to open up these lockers and empty them. They both have to be 100% empty because I'm going to be going in and out several times, and so will some of the other workers. And it's just the way it is. It's when you enter a boatyard, it's very difficult for anybody to keep their boat looking clean and tidy. I do my best. So I think we'll be here for about 4 weeks, and then I think we'll splash. It's hard to say because some of the work is being done by the boatyard guys, because they need the work, right? And I do like to share a little bit, but I tell you what, it's not even 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's already hot and sweaty. I'm already sweating just standing here. So when you've been someplace for a couple of months, as I have been, you get kind of settled. Things like this, a sunshade, which makes a world of difference. The bucket, which I use to bring water out of the river and dump it on the deck to cool the deck down. Yes, it gets so hot that in the afternoon you can't even stand on it. And this is just a backup sunshade, but it's not going to last. It's made out of the naga hide, so it's really not made to be a sunshade, but that's all I had. Christmas lights have got to be moved away. The hose has to be disconnected. Shore power cable has to be disconnected, but that'll be a little bit later. First, I'm going to remove my mooring line shock absorber, which is my triple fender bundle. And then I'm going to hoist up the anchor. The anchor, ouch, is in the water, but not by much. That's to stop it from swinging, because I have to put the anchor a little bit down because it shares the same hole in the bowsprit that the mooring lines do, and that's different than most boats. See, most boats have, mooring lines on the side of the bow to some degree, and then the anchor roller is kind of unaffected. But come on, get up out of here. Jets, tell them to get out of the way. Hey! Amigo, go. Well, one thing I can point out is that English is not widely spoken here in Guatemala, and I think it may be among some circles, yes, but I get along with the dock guys really, really well. Just a bunch of young kids who are, doing hard work in the hot sun every day. So I use a combination of free beers after work and propina, which means basically tip. And I've kind of got a bunch of friends in this crew, so they took care of me pretty well today. And as what you don't hear is me shouting to him that my depth now is showing less than 5 feet, so I'm getting nervous. But the man on the dock over there now is about to throw us a line. And when you see the line come over, then they've got complete control of the boat. And in just a moment, I shut the engine off. And there you go. And they did that in 4 corners, and the boat was under control. And then we head into the haul out. That's right. So you can see this truck. So on the truck you see the 4 big white squares covered with carpet, and so each of those goes up like this, and that's going to be the support of the boat. So he's going to carefully back the trailer under the boat, because my keel fits right down the center, and then the diver, they'll have a man with a snorkel going under to work on the supports to get all 4 supports just right. So we don't do slings on this boat, on this rig. So it's very interesting. I've never been picked this way before, so really I'm not getting picked. I'm just getting trailered out. Just no different than a powerboat at the ramp. So. You know, I've seen them do this like every day. You know, since I've been here, I walk along this dock over here, and so I see it all the time. But it's always different when it's your own boat, of course. That's all they're doing right now is kind of positioning the heads. Let me go. And all the other places, all the other times I've been hauled out, we've done slings.
Oh, amigo!
No, you're okay, amigo. Just despacio, it's okay. I really don't quite get it, how this works. Oh my God, mucho calor. Fucking hot. And all these gentlemen participating, especially the wet ones, they all are looking forward to a cold beer on board once we get it secured. So I guess I completely do not understand how this trailer works, I guess. So it's hard to show you pictures of the machine because I'm on top of the boat and the machine's under the boat. And I promised Edgar I would sit down. So it is Tuesday. I think. I really don't know. I think it's Tuesday. And we're hauling out. Hauling out, baby. Not hauling ass. We're going slowly, but we're hauling out. A little too close for comfort. I thought we were going in over here, but I guess not. It looks like this is my home. Right next to this guy. Hell, I could jump onto his boat. That looks like an old Fisher. I wonder what kind of... It's big though. It is. It's a Fisher 46. That's what it says there anyway. I always like those pilot house boats. Big pilot house motor sailors, slower than anything on the water, but except maybe a west sail. But they're awesome liveaboard boats, and they're pretty and they're traditional. I think we're probably about here. Well, he sounds pretty close. It's amazing. There's no mosquitoes here right now. I would call this a scope definition or detailed planning on the job, and you're wondering why haven't I done that before? Well, laziness, whatever. You know, events unfolded faster than I was ready for them, but we're in dry storage now, and I can safely pretty much do whatever I want to do to the engine. And we're going to talk right here about the work scope that I have. And I do have a lot of work to do here, okay? In a previous episode, I showed you this seacock valve. This is going to be replaced. That plywood base plate that is on it is going to be completely removed, and it's going to be all sanded down, and that hole's going to be abandoned. The new valve will not go in that location. The new valve, again, this is facing forward, is going to go over here behind my left foot, somewhere in that vicinity, close to the strainer. That'll keep all the saltwater stuff over there. It will clear out the real estate in this area to make future work easier. But really, I would say, if you ask any reasonable human to go after that valve and somehow get it out of there, I think that would be very difficult to do with the exhaust hoses. This is the combination exhaust and water outlet. So engine exhaust smoke comes out of the engine and is mixed with salt water that is exiting the engine. And they come in this hose, they go through this thing, this chamber, and it's just like a reservoir, and then the water bubbles its way out and it goes through a loop seal, a vertical loop seal, and then it heads out the back of the boat. So, but this hose here, you can see, has a lot of cracks in it, and it's obviously been stepped on a million times here in this area at the base. In this compartment here, there's another spot where the hose is badly abraded, and if you had a rupture of this hose while you needed to use the engine and you couldn't just shut the engine down, then this water pump is going to be continuously pumping water in from the sea, using it to cool the engine, and then it'll be discharging to wherever the hole is in the hose. So you'd be flooding your boat with your engine if one of these hoses had an issue. So this hose has to be removed temporarily in order to get at that valve. But I figure since I'm going to remove it, I'm probably going to destroy it getting it out. So I'm planning now to replace that hose. And I'm going to loosen the hose clamps in just a minute here and ascertain what size. It looks like a 2-inch, but this is the big black engine exhaust hose that's being replaced, and it comes from the engine muffler thing up and over and down and all the way to the back under the propane locker center line. Remove these holders, remove that holder, probably get the grinder. I'm using the grinder to cut the hose. I use a knife if possible, but I'll cut the hose somewhere around here to make it easier to manage. After going through all of my curse words and learning some new ones, I finally got the old hose out, and this is what it looks like. It definitely needed a replacement, and I'm really glad I finally got that out of there. Yeah, so this is the hose that came out, and I showed you this section before with all the dry clip cracks. That's what they use for abrasion control through wind penetration, but in another location at the bottom there, this is what I had in my hands. You can see it just, I mean, when you can crush this type of hose with your hand, it means the wires on the inside are completely gone. You know, and you can see it's got just red rust, and you can listen. So you know that hose, it's a good thing that it's gone. And one other thing is the oil leak. I found, when I was looking at the engine mounts, which one of the viewers has really recommended that I go after, and I agree. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go after oil leaks. Now, if you look way down here, you'll see oil leaks, like wet oil on one of the oil lines. So I got, and this is, I think that little thing is where the oil sender is supposed to be attached. And I'm thinking, how in the fuck am I going to physically access that? And not so easily done. But when the valve is out, it'll be a lot easier. But I did notice that down here, going upside down, boys, this hose right here is pinched between the engine mount and the engine block itself. I mean, look at that. It is physically wedged in there, and it's obvious it's been abraded quite a bit. So I'm thinking we're going to need to replace that oil hose, which goes over to the oil cooler, which I'd like to relocate anyway off the engine block, but I don't even have any idea where I put that at the moment. I don't have any good suggestions, but I certainly need to get a new hose made and reroute it so it's not being pinched. And then I can go after the engine mount as well, at least snug those up. I really don't want to fuck with the engine alignment and cause the engine to physically move, but fixing that leak, I mean, that hose looks like it's just a catastrophic failure waiting to happen, and if it rips out, they'll be blowing oil and the engine won't be usable at that point. So, okay, I'm going to try to film this even though there's a lot of background noise. We're standing on the outside of the hull. Okay, so I'm going to close the video out. Thanks a lot for your comments in advance. I know you guys are a smart bunch, and I do look forward to any comments or suggestions you may have. Oh, thank you. Well done, Edwin. Alright, so other work that had been going on, even before the haul out, was going up the mast. So You see here, Chloe and her husband and another worker were going up the mast to take a look at the shivs at the top. And if you don't recall, the two shivs for the Genoa don't rotate at all. Okay, so but their conclusion is the same as Julian's, who's the other professional rigger here in Guatemala. And it's like, just, you've lived with this for 3 years, you can keep living with it for three more years, probably, no question. Go to New Zealand and pick the mast there, whatever. You know, it's just, they can't work it while the mast is in the boat. And we don't really have good facilities here to pick the mast off the boat. So unless I took the boat over to the Ram Marina, which is our next door neighbor, and we think we could pick the mast there. And now we're looking at a couple $1,000s just for one job. And I'm not really prepared to change all the radio wires and all the other things inside the mast. That's a job, once you take the mast off, you want to do every possible job to the mast. Do you want to install lightning protection? Do you want to change wiring to your antennas, etc., etc.? And I'm just not ready for any of that work. So probably the masthead work won't get done. Second thing, my little outboard, the Yamaha 2-stroke, 2-horse, is not running again. And I cleaned the carburetor before, and like I did before up in Marathon, and I'm not getting good results. I can't get the motor to run, and now that I'm in dry storage, I don't have a way to keep the outboard cool. I'd have to carry it down to the water and finish the work there. But so right now I only have the Suzuki 6-horse 4-stroke as my only outboard. You know, the 2-horse is not in service right now. Let's see, I installed my little night lights up here by the companionway, which is one of those I've always been meaning to do jobs. And I think that's all the good stuff. So other than that, it's just continue with normal life here in the boatyard. And today I'm going to install these scuppers in this. Well, they're going to go this way. You have to take a drain from the upper drain, come out the side. I've got this little string epoxied into the fitting to help lead, like a drip edge, to lead the water droplets away. That's going to get installed today and tomorrow probably, and then I'll reroute those hoses, and that'll be a big win for me. Because I do want to continue with my cockpit drains work, and I'm doing all that scope myself. So I think that's all I have on my list, guys. And I'm going to dog this off because this could be like this for the next 5 days, this noise. So, and again, that's not a complaint. They're doing work that I really don't want to do, preparing me for painting and for epoxy repairs to the hull. So that's that, guys. Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.